Today on the Paul Harrell program, the government shutdown is in full swing as reports emerge that thousands of government employees will be fired at the request of OMB Director Russ Vought. All this is going on while Democrats, of course, are desperate to give illegals taxpayer benefits. The Dems deny this, of course. But there's that pesky little video from the Democrat primary where all the candidates raised their hand when they were asked the question if their health care plans would cover illegal aliens. Man, it's just getting ridiculous. There's only one reason, by the way, for this policy stance, even though they deny it, and it comes down to incentives. Millions of illegals have allegedly self-deported themselves, and the Dems don't want to give up on their dreams of a permanent underclass where illegals vote in elections. The Paul Harrell program starts now.
The Paul Harrell program.
All right, folks. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Rob Spencer. Rob, good to see you again, sir.
You know, Paul, it is an honor to be here, as always, my friend. And, of course, we've got a lot happening right now. We are officially in day 2 of the government shutdown. What is going to happen? Who's going to blink first? Who is going to give? And I think Mike Johnson and, Senator Thune are doing a great job here. They're like, look, there's nothing to negotiate. We just need to pass this clean CR, keep the government open. You've passed it 13 times already. We are working behind the scenes on these appropriation bills to actually fund the government properly. But until we have time to work through all of that, let's fund it with this CR. And they won't do it because they're using this. This is their hill to die on. Yeah. The Dems, they are going to die on this hill. And what we're seeing right now, in my opinion, is the Dems falling further behind in the approval rating.
You're exactly right. That is exactly what's happening. And they're trying to undo. I don't hear a lot of people saying this. I think they're trying to undo what the parts of the big beautiful bill.
They 100%
that's
are
what
trying to
this
do that.
is. They're wanting to increase that, or maybe other people have said it, but they want to try to use this to undo their legislative losses that have already been codified
and add $1.5 trillion to the debt.
Yeah,
Paul.
That's right.
Like let's not skim over that. We're already $38 trillion in debt. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and add another $1.5 trillion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When Doge and the United States government, as it currently is being governed, is trying to, let's just calm down on this spending here. We don't have money.
I'm glad you brought up Doge because honestly, with this whole illegal talking point, Republicans say you're wanting to do this to give health care to illegals. The Democrats are saying, no, that's not it. That's not it at all. We want to give health care to, Americans. But the fact of the matter is Doge exposed how many illegals. They actually didn't get to the bottom of it, but they did the groups, the samples that they did run. Yes, they were receiving benefits. They were receiving IRS benefits. They were receiving Social Security. They were receiving. Then they were being signed up to vote. Yeah. According to Elon Musk, when he was, he did that big rally up in Wisconsin at the height when Doge was going on. And so this is absolutely about giving them taxpayer benefits, and you'll never convince me that it's also not getting them, the vote. Because if you're on Medicaid, you're just one step closer from being able to register to vote, in my opinion.
Well, we're already seeing that. We are literally already seeing. We saw this in Des Moines there with the superintendent. I sent you the link on this. Right. I don't know I don't think this is on our list to talk about today, but he was an illegal immigrant. He's been illegal since 1999. Okay. And he is the superintendent of a major school district in Des Moines, making $250,000 a year. I don't know what it is. But regardless, he is already an illegal immigrant, and he's been hired in this position. Well, then they find out about him. ICE finds out about him, and they, pull him over, arrest him, take him into custody. He's got a loaded handgun, which honestly is I have no problem with, with him having a handgun. But at the same time, if you're in the country illegally, should
Yeah.
you have a handgun?
Do you have a Second Amendment right?
Do you have a Second Amendment right?
No,
I don't
you don't.
know.
You don't have a Second Amendment
Right.
right if you're here illegally.
That's what I think. That's what I think. And the Supreme Court, I don't know if they've really answered that question. But then he had thousands of dollars of cash. Like, what is this dude doing? Like, who just? Paul, do you just drive around with thousands of dollars worth of cash in your vehicle?
No, but as an American, I should be able to.
Sure.
But an illegal alien, it's suspect. It's sus.
It is. It's sus. And then what they find out is that he has been registered to vote since at least 2012.
Yeah, so this is Ian Andre Roberts, the superintendent of the Des Moines Public Schools in Iowa, was arrested by ICE. Republicans blew the whistle on the fact that he was a registered active Democrat voter in the state of Maryland. According to the official website, this is from Fox News, for the Maryland State Board of Elections, Roberts, who overstayed a student visa since 1999,
Yes.
was an active voter status and registered as a Democrat in Maryland. And he's the superintendent. You know, this, I mean,
Like
he's making
he's
a
not
ton
just
of money.
some teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's running the entire district.
He's literally risen, to a very prominent position in that local community. It's almost like that movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
You know how it just builds.
Frank, whatever his name
the
is.
hot checks, and
Yeah.
he's a doctor and a lawyer and all that other stuff. This is insane. And so this guy was, how many more Ian Andre Roberts are there out there? And there's a lot.
No, listen, Paul, he's the only illegal immigrant who is registered to vote.
The only one.
He's the only one. He snuck through, he snuck through. And everybody wants to see, like, so the meme that we couldn't play yesterday, and I was listening back to the show, and it was like, hey, we can't show you this video. I said meme. We can't show you this video. And it was, Jeffries and Schumer, and of course it's AI generated, and Schumer's talking about, is like, hey, they can't handle our woke BS and all of that stuff, and he's like, the blacks won't vote for us, the Mexicans won't vote for us, or Hispanics, I think is what he said, they won't vote for us, so we got to bring in new people. Yeah, we got to have new voters until they learn English, and then they decide they don't like us either. And like, there's a joke with that, Paul. There really is. We understand that they're just joking. The Dems may not understand that joke, but it's baked in truth. Mm-hmm. The best jokes are baked in truth. And what we know here is they're bringing in another voter base because the Dems can't run on a platform. Tell me right now what the Democratic platform is.
Well, they're against every single one of the 10 Commandments as a matter of public policy.
Sure.
They're for open borders, and they're for just basically sexual debauchery and calling it normal.
Does that sound like the majority of the United States population would be aligned with that?
No, they're not. They rejected it.
So if your policies are this, if your, platform is this, and no one here wants to vote for it,
yeah,
what do?
Yeah.
You either change, which they won't, they won't change, or you bring in new voters.
Well, and that was certainly, without Trump, that was the plan, because the millions that came across, the millions more that would be coming across right now in a Harris administration, they were going to make these people citizens. I think they were actually going to allow them to basically become stormtroopers, join some sort of military faction, and get citizenship by basically coming after actual Americans.
Yeah,
I really believe that.
And what ticks me off so much, Cuomo, and even he's going further center, right? Chris Cuomo, but Jake Tapper, all of these people, and they talk about they have legal protected status. And I just say, if you came in the last 4 years, if you came in during the last administration, you don't have legal protected status.
No.
You may in fact have it based off of what that was at the time. But we all saw, and if you didn't see it, you missed out. There was a video of a white guy here in the United States, born and raised, and he goes on to that CB1 app. You remember that one?
Yes, yeah, that was shut down.
It was shut down, rightfully so. He goes on there, and he applied to become a whatever you want to call it, like a temporary protected person here in the United States. Like, he wanted to come here illegally. Okay. Now, he wanted to do it legally through the CB1 app. And so he entered in this information, but it was just basic. He just made it all up. He didn't even put a profile picture and all of that stuff. And he clicked, boom, and he goes, "You've been approved. Report to such and such and such and such." And he's like, "What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? You want to tell me that was vetting? Yeah. I just made stuff up. Mm-hmm. I don't have. You know nothing about me." Right. And millions of people did that in the last 4 years.
They did.
And that's our problem. We're not talking, and you and I have disagreements on this stuff, but we're not talking about the people that have been here for 30 years and don't even have as much as a traffic violation. We're talking about the people who abused the system that came in the last 4 years, who stayed in the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in New York on the taxpayers' dime because the Democrats wanted new voters.
Yeah, 100%.
We're not talking about those people.
I know.
We are talking about those people. I'm just saying we're not talking about the 30-year people.
Well, and the whole process of that was so corrupt too. I interviewed Michael Yon in terms of the caravans that were coming through the Darien Gap in Panama. Michael Yon was an excellent resource on all that because he was down there and he was covering it all. And then you had the USAID, or funding these NGOs, many of them with Christian or religious-sounding names that were encouraging this.
Yeah, like in quotes, Christian in quotes.
there was the Hebrew Immigrant Society. There was a Catholic one. There was a Lutheran one. But they all were down there. By the way, they can't accept that money. They cannot actually accept the taxpayer money through USAID if they proselytize. So they are not allowed to actually proselytize.
Funny how that works.
So what are they down there for? They're literally they were front groups, and they were giving women rape kits because they knew on their journey from the Darien Gap they were going to be raped, which is so
disgusting.
Evil, so evil.
Like, we just say it and we just kind of move past that. Like, it's
but
like,
to think about that, like
so
if you were working for that charity, like, what kind of sick person would you have to be involved in that, and to be like, "Here, little girl, here's your rape kit. Go out, go sneak across the border with Jose." Who's going to be, leading you, but he's going to rape you. It's going to be part of it.
You're like, unfortunately, you're old enough where you're probably going to be raped. And we've seen some sick, psychotic stuff where 3-year-olds are being raped and stuff. But you're looking at this 10-year-old girl, coming across with her mom. Here's both of you get this rape kit.
And so we were funding it. The United States,
sick ass.
I know.
I'm sorry. Excuse my language, but you Dems, you just encourage that, Paul.
I know.
They encourage it.
Well, our own taxpayer dollars did this too, and that's what's also so sick about it is, it's our own taxpayer dollars essentially funding the invasion, which is our own government running I call this proxy war via the drug cartels and the smuggling ring, human trafficking rings against the American people, against the actual people that live here. That's when you really think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about the people on the ground, they're sickos, but the people at the top, the uniparty, if you will, they knew exactly what they were doing.
They knew exactly what they're doing, and they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care, because what are they doing? We get these people here, horrific tragedies befall them as on their journey, and you know what? So what? They get here, we give them a check, we give them this Medicaid card.
Sign them up to vote.
We sign them up to vote. We give them a free hotel, and we give them some food and all of that stuff. And they just forgot the fact that they were raped 7 times on their journey from Guatemala. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
We just opened up the border for 4 years. This is why Trump was elected, folks. You want to talk about the economy? You want to talk about differences in any sort of opinions that you have politically? It all boiled down to flooding across the border, and even Republicans, independents, and some sensible Democrats looked at it and said, this cannot continue. Yeah. This can't continue, because we have Americans born and raised who are going to bed hungry tonight. We have Americans born and raised who can't get affordable housing. We have Americans born and raised, who has to go to the pharmacy, as we talked about yesterday, and decide whether they want to get their drugs, their prescription drugs this month, or do they pay their rent or pay their mortgage payment or whatever. We have Americans that are struggling, but yet we're going to import the third world.
That's why that Mayorkas guy, I mean, he should be
war crimes. Why has that guy not been arrested?
I mean, it's absolute treason. It's absolutely insane. Oh, by the way, quick rabbit trail on that. On our conversation yesterday, and I don't want to get too hung up on this, but we covered the Pfizer meeting and how outraged some people in the Maha movement were and everything else. Somebody made a good post, and I didn't pull it, but they just as a follow up. Do you remember the Truth Social post that Trump made? Oh, I don't know, about it was probably 2-3 weeks ago, where he was signaling that Operation Warp Speed might not have been such a great success, and he mentioned Pfizer, but people have told me it was great, but there's other people telling me it's not great. Now people are saying, okay, that was the threat to get the deal. Yeah, that was the threat to get the deal that they had. Now, whether or not you think that's a good idea or not, it does appear that that's what that was.
You think that man's not always playing chess?
Yeah, I mean,
I think he's playing chess.
Well, I mean, definitely. I think I think people still have every right to be outraged.
I'm inclined to believe that he was using that, because that's just.
Well, it was like we celebrated it because we were like, oh man, that's the first time that he's ever even considered that Operation Warp Speed wasn't the success that he claims it is.
Right,
and then we get this all of a sudden
deal
Pfizer's in the room,
and
they've got to sell Americans drug prices way cheaper. So I mean, it is what it is. But let's get back to this. All right, so the Democrats are saying that this is not about illegals.
So Democrats are ticked. They can't keep up with the sombrero.
No, they can't.
What's it called? Mariachi band?
Yeah, the mariachi band.
Yeah, they can't keep up with it.
So the Democrats decided to try to meme today in a new video. So look to see the Democrat right there. That's
the Democrats.
So this is them trying to compete with the Republicans, essentially winning the culture war right now when it comes to this, which is really interesting. This is what they released.
Republican and Democrat kiddies cannot agree on what should be funded. Democrat kiddies want you to have health care. Republican kiddies do not. Republican kiddies control the Senate, House, and the White House, so they're using that to cut your health care and give money to billionaires. Democrat kitty tries to negotiate, but Republican kitty keeps running away. He has a vacation to get to. Uh-oh, suddenly the money you pay for your health insurance has tripled. Thanks, Republicans. Republican and Democrat kiddies cannot agree.
All right, so that was their big, answer to the sombrero.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that the White House...
Wait a minute. Go back up to those girls.
Yeah. So the right to bear, this is not really.
It's not funny at all. Good. And then I love this one.
And so they take the Democrat kitty and they put a sombrero and mustache. Now they're adding maracas.
Yeah, they're adding the maracas to it.
So did you say the White House actually posted?
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So I think that it was. I don't know if it was the official White House account or if it was just. Some White House officials that
the sombreros,
they're like, oh, we don't care.
J.D. Vance straight up said, look, if Hakeem Jeffries wants to open up the government, if Chuck Schumer wants, we promise you the sombrero memes will stop. It's not going to happen.
Somebody's like, oh, this is immature. This is unpresidential and all that stuff. And I'm like, look, they're trying to run the country.
I will say,
the Democrats are not letting them.
You've seen the movie Idiocracy. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, my goodness, Rob, you've got to see the movie Idiocracy.
Okay.
Because even though I will firmly take a side, you got to, obviously, I'm on the right and everything else. The movie Idiocracy with Luke Wilson, back in 2000, I don't know, early. It's basically about this army guy who does this experiment to be put to sleep, and then something happens. The catastrophe happens, and he basically travels in time. He wakes up, and it's been hundreds of years.
Okay.
And so that's Idiocracy. It shows you that society is essentially run by idiots.
Yeah. So I've seen the
president is a wrestler. And they're all drinking corporate like Gatorade or Mountain Dew. They can't get any crops to grow. But everybody is literally an idiot except for him.
Except for him, he's the smartest person alive
because he was
200 years in the future.
Yeah, exactly. But I
will
will
say
this.
I don't know. That may be one of those jokes that hits too close to home. Yeah, because that may be true.
Well, it's just funny, this back and forth. Like, I get it. Memeing is great. I like it. It's this, way to communicate. It is funny. But you do get this back and forth between them. There is a little bit of an idiocracy vibe going on. And I also will say there's a UFC fight that's going to take place on the White House lawn.
You know what? It's an amazing time to be alive.
Yeah,
Paul.
it really is, man.
Hold on. Look what the Democrats did. Like, scroll to this next one. Okay, yeah. So they put him in a suit.
Yeah, that looks like the mug shot, though.
Yeah. And so the other kitty was naked. Like, there was no clothes on the. There were no clothes or whatever.
That's the Democrat kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, real quick, Trump put out this Truth Social post earlier today. I have a meeting today with Russ Vought. He of Project 2025 fame. This is such a troll. This is such a troll. To determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again, President DJT. So no word yet on how many thousands, but they are saying it's going to be thousands now. Government employees are going to be let go.
Yeah.
And then we have this.
Ro Khanna, who is
Yep.
at times the only reasonable Democrat in the House.
I'm not really familiar with him.
Okay,
honestly.
so he's from California. He is, I disagree with him on his transgender stuff, but he will admit many times he's like.
Apparently, he's about to admit something right here.
I've not seen this clip, but I will tell you that what I've seen from Ro Khanna is sometimes he'll admit that his party is like, hey, we've missed the mark.
Well,
here.
so the charge is you guys want to fund health care for illegal aliens. And the Democrats say, no, that's not true. And so then Ro Khanna goes on Fox Business and says this.
Okay.
In terms of health care, the reality is they're just not being honest. The amount of money that actually is going towards people who are undocumented is such a small portion of the Medicaid cuts or the Affordable Care Act, if at all. And so we can argue that point, but the reality that even the vice president would acknowledge, that anyone who looks at the numbers will acknowledge, is 90 to 95% of the funding we're talking about is talking about funding for American citizens.
Well, so there you go. So it is about illegal aliens. I mean, they're admitting it.
Ro, I would say this, Ro, you're saying 90 to 95%. So you want that, let's just call it 90%. You want that 90% to be restored so that the 10% can also have their stuff. And the Republicans are saying, no, we already fixed this with the big, beautiful bill.
Yeah.
There's
a new policy in place. You're not going to hold the country hostage because you didn't have the votes.
Yeah, Mike Johnson even talks about it. He's like, they're wanting to negotiate. He's like, I've got nothing to negotiate with you about. I've got nothing because all we're doing is doing a clean CR, and you're wanting to renegotiate the big, beautiful bill. He's like, that's already it's already been signed into a law.
Okay, so he said that. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Mike Johnson was saying that, and I was just like, that's exactly what needs to be said. When you have Wasserman Schultz, Schultz.
Boy, have you seen her? She looks rough.
Man, you know what?
I forgot she was still in politics.
There's not a whole lot of like truly attractive far leftists.
Yeah.
There's just really not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I don't know that I've seen really any.
But the last refuge here goes through the steps here of basically, the way the Dems work, that they're not getting subsidies. Okay, they just don't get as much. And then basically, no one cares if they are getting subsidies. So
yeah, well, they do. 100% they do, because what we're seeing is a nation in $38 trillion worth of debt, and it's not getting any better anytime soon. And the Republicans are actually trying to fix that.
Yeah.
What do the Democrats do when they're in office?
Yeah.
Well, they just add to it.
Yeah, and so do, honestly, so do Republicans.
Well, they do, but what, what they talk about in Trump's first term, they give his total number that he added to the debt. But you're like, what about before March 2020?
Yeah. Oh yeah, right.
You know, if you want to look at the amount of debt that he added,
I mean, COVID was wild.
COVID was the biggest check money laundering scheme we've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely.
By in terms of total dollars.
But this is where the Democrats just their whole narrative runs aground. This old primary debate between all of the Democrat candidates. They were asked this question.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
Me, I'm the most liberal. I'm the most progressive. All of us. There's no difference on this issue. Yes, they want to give them everything. So we know the position here. This is not complicated. Then Hakeem Jeffries goes on CNN and did not have a very good outing with Jake Tapper.
Donald Trump blessed it as well.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025. But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E. And this has to do with the repeal of health care subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
No, it's not.
But what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance.
Look at him.
And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that to message? I understand that.
Yeah, because you want it, and it's about incentive structure. They want to incentivize these people to stay here.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I fully believe. If you have been in this country for a certain number of years, call it 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, there needs to be some sort of path, in my opinion.
Well, to your point, they had that in the first term. They remember.
Trump offered.
You remember
Trump
that this was for the big. They wanted the wall funding.
He wanted the wall,
and he said, "Hey, I'll legalize all these DACA people, or give them a pathway. I'll give you DACA." And they said no.
Pelosi said no.
Yeah, which was insane.
She did not want a Republican to deliver DACA. That is fact. If there is a liberal watching this and saying, no, that didn't happen, that is a fact. Trump said, I will give you DACA. Nancy said no because we're not funding your stupid wall, she said.
I know.
She said it.
So to your point, like maybe there's something down the way, down the road where somebody floats that again. But I mean, at this point, this is just about, for sure getting rid of the violent illegals. What we're seeing in Portland, what we're seeing in Los Angeles and all across the country, Chicago.
I am in favor of, and maybe you want to call me a conservative or not, whatever. I am in favor of Hillary Clinton's immigration plan.
Oh, you shouldn't say that.
I said it.
You shouldn't say that.
I said it. Here's what her immigration plan was.
When was this?
This was 2007, somewhere around in there. She said,
it just sounds gross when it comes. I'm sorry. Yeah. I want you to finish, but it just
I believe that they have to come out of the shadows, as she said. If they are a criminal, they're deported, no questions asked. But if they are law-abiding citizens, they are given a pathway to citizenship. They have to pay a fine. They have to learn English. And they have to go to the back of the line in terms of if you've got all of these people who are applying for citizenship, they have to go to the back of the line. Now, it needs to be an easier situation to become a citizen of the United States. Now, I'm not saying that it needs to be easy. It just needs to be easier. It shouldn't take you 12 years.
Well,
to be, and I don't know what the term for, because I've heard somebody said that they became a citizen within 6 years. I don't know, but 6 years is a little bit, in my opinion, that's a little bit much.
Well, to quote Hillary Clinton from 2007 or whenever that was, to come out of the shadows. Okay, If you're a criminal, you're never going to do that.
Right.
So that's what I mean. If there is something
Yeah.
down the line, which that's going to be a whole debate. That's going to be a whole huge debate.
Yeah.
But if there were to be some sort of plan down the line, it seems like the ones that are never going to come out of the shadows because they're criminals. That's what's being addressed right now. I'm not.
It could be.
Yeah.
Could be, but Paul, I also would say this: the people that won't come out of the shadows, we already know how they feel about it, right?
Right.
Like, hey, I beat my wife, and so I'm not going to come out of the shadows because then I'm going to be deported.
Right.
Okay, cool. Those are the people we're looking for. That's who I'm trying to catch right now. Oh, wait a minute. You were given the opportunity to come out of the shadows because you've been here for 27 years. You were given the opportunity to come out of the shadows. You did. You followed the steps. You're good. You get to stay. You stay here while you're working on this because you are 33 years old and you've been here for 27 years.
Yeah.
Right?
The only
Now,
my only caveat, like if I because see I just respectfully disagree.
it's just not feasible.
I
Paul,
get
but go
it.
ahead.
I
I'm
get
listening
it.
to
I
you.
get it. But if I were at the negotiating table and something had to be done, I would never allow these people to vote. And I know that's but I know that's a hefty trade-off. Where you're in here, you're gonna continue paying taxes, but you never have the right to vote.
Right.
But I certainly think that it is fair. It's a fair trade-off.
Yeah.
Regardless
Well, what about
of
this?
regardless of how you came here, I
What-
feel like that would be a fair
What about this? Going back with my example, you're 33 years old. You've been here for 27 years, 28 years, whatever. Been here since you were 5. I don't know. You're just throwing that out there. You've been here since you were 5 years old. 33 years. You mean to tell me that this stupid, crazy, leftist, purple-haired, white liberal woman who is just like the worst. Let's just be honest. The white liberal women are the worst. Like, and I'm not talking about liberals. I'm talking about crazy leftists.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you can just be a woman who's just like, hey, I'm pro-choice. I can be all this stuff or whatever. You've given birth. You've raised your child to be trans, whatever. You have literally fed them all the
Right.
liberal, the crazy leftist stuff.
Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Yes. Now they're 18. They're legally allowed to vote.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Legally allowed to vote. And so you're saying that person,
Well, I can't do anything about that.
I know you
person.
can't do
I have
anything
no
about-
power to take
What's-
that person's vote away.
give me somebody who's happy to be here. Give me
Yeah,
somebody
I
who
understand.
loves America as opposed to that crazy leftist who's like, I hate America, take it down.
Yeah. No. I see- I get your point. I certainly do.
We're going to agree to disagree.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Here is this story. We have an Antifa militant in Portland that was. Let's see. It says here. Antifa militant who dumped red paint on the ICE facility here in Portland last night was just arrested after he returned tonight. So this guy dumped red paint, and you see him there with the middle finger, and then this guy gets he gets dragged away.
Oh, he's chirping.
Yep.
He's chirping underneath that mask, isn't he?
Yep. And now here he is in custody. Apparently he's got Parkinson's now or something.
Oh, no, he doesn't. The realization of the world just hit him.
Yep.
Oh, I don't want to be insensitive. Just hit they.
Do what?
I have no idea. Is that a man?
Yeah,
a
man.
woman? I mean, it looks like a man.
Them,
but,
whatever. Like, yeah, this is so. I mean, and this kind of goes back to what we were saying yesterday about what would it take for you to, go firebomb a Tesla dealership and think that you're making a political difference?
Yeah, I would never do anything like that. Number one.
Yeah, because you don't want to be taken away from your family,
Well, sure.
your responsibilities.
Yeah, but I don't have such strongly held beliefs that I feel as if I need to break the law to, espouse those. Like I'm not going to set out there.
Exactly, but they will.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Which and
Yeah.
you see
I
what
mean,
happens when they do.
What do we do? Biden gets in office. What do we do? Right? I mean, we go to the Capitol, or I didn't, but some a lot
some people
did.
did. Yeah.
So they try to redress. They try to redress the government, and of course now we found out there are 274 plainclothes FBI agents in the
Yeah.
crowd, after the fact.
Simply for crowd control.
But like Biden gets in office, what do people on the right do? Well, they go protest outside of abortion clinics, and then the FBI, which at that time was Biden's personal police force, goes in and arrests people.
Arrest them.
It's just totally different responses to tyranny. And I'm not saying that it doesn't get to that point. I'm not saying that there's never. Obviously, the American Revolution was fought for a reason, and I think it was a just war. It's just the left is they're doing things that don't even make a difference. And who knows? Maybe they're being paid. And
can we see him shake a little bit more?
They're throwing their lives away. They're absolutely throwing their lives away. For what? For some George Soros cause?
I get it, but I just find so much joy in that.
I mean, I understand. And then there's this. President Trump has now directed the Department of War to conduct military strikes when needed as part of the armed. They're now calling it an armed conflict with the cartels.
Breaking moments ago, the Trump administration says it is now engaged in, quote, armed conflict with drug cartels. That's according to a memo to Congress that was obtained by Fox News. Our Peter Ducey has got more on the breaking news live from the White House. Peter, I assume this is in response to the criticisms that have been leveled at the president for taking out those drug boats.
Yes, and John, those criticisms come from Democratic lawmakers who say they are concerned that these cartel members, cartel drug boat captains, are not getting due process before a bomb drops on their head.
Due process.
Yeah.
Because the Constitution is a global document that encompasses the entire world, so you get due process.
Apparently, even though you've not sworn an allegiance
Yeah.
to the United States Constitution, you are still afforded the protections of said Constitution.
It's so ridiculous. It's insane.
What I can tell you this is I absolutely love J.D. Vance's address about this. He was talking about this, and he just said, he's like, I don't see any problem with it. As a matter of fact, if I'm a fisherman, I'm not going fishing anywhere near that, anywhere near that area, just for the simple fact that I'm like, there have been no boats. When's the last time you heard about that bombing?
Yeah.
Right? This has been several weeks ago, but there's been one or two, and those cartels are like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Biden's not president anymore.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens because, I said from the very beginning, when it comes to the drug cartels, to my knowledge, I mean, maybe back in the 80s or, in Colombia, but to my knowledge, these guys have not ever gone up against Tier 1 American operators. Your special forces, SEALs, that sort of thing.
Because those Tier 1 operators have never really been authorized
That's right.
to do this.
That's right.
Yeah, to your point.
Come on, I mean, it's got to stop. The violence has got to stop. Now we move on to this story, which is incredible.
Oh my!
For somebody like Rob and myself, those of you watching, maybe the more national audience on American News, but I mean, I live 50 miles from the bridge of Memphis, Tennessee. 50 miles from it. Used to go to Memphis when I was younger. It was, it was always going to be a more dangerous place than where I live here in Arkansas. But it has gotten absolutely out of control to the point where I never even think about going to Memphis unless I have to go to the airport, and that's it. I'm never going there for recreation.
We have to go. So we are in Jonesboro, Arkansas. There's a small municipal airport that if we were flying these little small, 10-person planes or whatever, we might jump on one of those. But for the most part, if you want to fly from our area, you're going to have to go to Memphis. You're going to go to Memphis International Airport. You don't leave valuables in your vehicle. You don't get out at a gas station like, so I carry, you carry. You don't get out at a gas station without your gun
100%,
on you, right?
100%.
That is what Memphis is. We don't really see that on a daily basis here, although Jonesboro has some crime problems as well. But it's nothing to the level of Memphis, Tennessee, which is Tennessee, red state, Memphis, the bluest of the blue cities. Okay, they are 65% African American, I believe. that's what the percentage of that population is.
So to your point, this is a perfect part for this
And
video.
I don't know that they've had a Republican.
Here's a guy
photobombing
photobombing a CNN.
It's been an alphabet soup of law enforcement.
Democrats
as we see
destroyed
them
Memphis.
Get ready and
To
go
your
out
point, Rob.
and make runs throughout the day. We know more than 50 arrests were made just
Hey,
last
it's a
night.
black guy.
20
I love it.
guns
I love it.
taken
Wearing a
off the
MAGA
street
hat.
in the last 48 hours. You see people like
maybe
this who
Hispanic.
behind me with this sign. He has it on both sides. If you can flip it around and show what he's saying, he's hoping that this action by Trump will help make the city safer. Take a listen to a man that we talked to in a neighborhood that basically says he welcomes the idea of this federal action.
I love
It's
it, man.
true.
Democrats destroyed Memphis.
It's true. Since the Democrats have been involved and in power, right? I mean, I don't even think that they've had a white mayor in the last such and such years, right?
Yeah, I have no
It
idea.
is
but
true blue black Democrats that are running this majority black city, and it is crime riddled.
Yeah.
It is crime riddled, and you can say that's racist for me to say it,
But it's a
it's
fact.
the fact.
Yeah, it is what
It
is.
is a fact. You can gripe all you want to and say it's racism. It is a fact.
I know, and we're going to have to wait and see what actually comes of this. Here is Stephen Miller alongside Pete Hegseth yesterday in Memphis. Listen to this speech.
To the Memphis Police Department, to the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all-of-government unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA,
Unlimited.
FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have. And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests. These are people who have taken down drug cartels, kingpins, the worst criminal offenders in the United States, standing with you shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the criminal element that has plagued it for generations. This is not just a strategy shift. This is an attitude shift. We are not going to live in an environment anywhere where there is a street that belongs to a criminal, where there is a neighborhood that belongs to a gang, where there is any physical space anywhere that belongs to anyone other than the law-abiding citizens and families of Memphis. The idea that there is a square inch of block in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable. This is Memphis. This is the United States of America, and all that bullshit is done. It's over. It's finished.
I just want to give a standing ovation.
I do too.
Do you understand? Like, Paul, we've gone every time we feel like that when we go to Memphis, wishing that someone would come in there and clean up that.
Absolutely.
It's a great town. Memphis is a great town.
It's just only gotten progressively worse. It's just quickly gotten to be. It's a city you can't wait to get out of.
It is. You go there by necessity.
Yep, you don't go there for fun.
And it's unfortunate because it's a great town. There's lots of culture. There's museums. And it's Graceland. All this stuff. Like, you've got tons of stuff to do in Memphis, but people are scared to do it.
Yeah. You're exactly right. It's like, as I'm watching that, I'm thinking, is Stephen Miller going to turn into Harvey Two-Face? When did when did our cities, when did all of our American cities become Gotham?
Yeah.
It sounds like this is a scene out of Batman, of somebody finally taking charge of the streets.
And you gotta understand that there's probably career police officers that clock in every night, go to that roll call, and just say, "Is this the night?
Yeah.
Is this the night that I lose my life?"
That's exactly right.
And they're whether they're doing it outwardly or cheering on the inside, they're like, "Thank God we have help."
So, a few statistics here. Pam Bondi saying in just 48 hours, our Memphis Safe Task Force has made 53 arrests and seized 20 illegal firearms. Yesterday, a missing juvenile was located, and 3 firearms were recovered at the home of a murder suspect. At POTUS's direction, we are making America safe again. Then another one. In just 72 hours, our Memphis task force is making an incredible impact. 40 arrests were made, including a Tren de Aragua terrorist, a felon in possession of a firearm, a man wanted for rape of a child, and an arrest for assault on a federal officer. To date, there have been 93 arrests and 28 illegal guns seized. Our work is saving lives. The other clip that I want to play here, and you'll have to forgive the Top Gun music behind this. This is El Donaldo Trumpo.
Which, if you're not following him on social media, he is phenomenal.
And there was a lot of people that thought that this was actually Trump's account when he got banned.
Honestly, it feels like it still could be, but I don't know.
I
don't know if that's true.
So somebody made this video, but here's an interview. It's the end of this interview that I feel like we do have to be wary of. Okay, but here, just watch this.
We noticed on the way in here, there's a digital billboard that said, "Memphis, we welcome the National Guard." How does that make you guys feel?
You know, that doesn't surprise me at all. I don't think it surprises any of us, because when you go out on the streets and talk to the citizens, even if they were hesitant at the beginning, a couple days in, and now they're looking at what happened in Washington, they say, we want that security, we want that safety here in Memphis. It's a proud city. These are proud people that love that city. So they're welcoming the National Guard, and it is the Tennessee National Guard. It's their fellow members of their state securing that city. They have welcomed us, and we're glad to be here for them.
We began on local asking for National Guard. Do you feel like more people are coming out now wanting this kind of help? And do you think that this shutdown would affect that? If they can't get the help and being...
Our department and law enforcement, we do our job. We're here for the American people. We're here to secure our citizens and keep us safe. Democrats are going to play games. That hurts what our troops can do. That hurts what our law enforcement can do. We still work, though, but we know the games they're playing. And if we need to go to other cities to support law enforcement, we'll do that.
I saw a message on X someone sent me, and they said, please let everyone know that some of these criminals are going out into the suburbs. They know that you guys are coming to Memphis, and they're running out to the suburbs. How do we handle that?
That's an easy message. You can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. We're coming after you. We're going to find you. Get ready. You're going to prison.
Thank you.
So,
yes.
Yeah, the music certainly makes it, but I will say that is a big deal. Like that is going to happen. That is happening.
Yeah. Well,
and it could happen here.
Criminals are already going out into the suburbs of Memphis, Paul. I see it. So there is I'm a member of this Facebook group, and it's I can't remember what it's called. Something Memphis. Save Memphis or something. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but anyway, I just happened upon it. Probably because we were talking about Memphis on the show, and of course, it it does. You're like, hey,
we're all being spied upon.
Yeah. Like, so my phone is listening to me right now. But anyway, so they're already going out in there. They're already terrorizing the citizens, and we talked about. We were talking about it when we had the dog expert. Right. And I'm so sorry, I forget his name. But anyway, he was on the show, and he was just talking about, this guy who called and said, hey, I need a ready-to-go canine that is going to protect my family.
Yeah.
The buyer of that, the one who paid $80,000 for this dog, protection dog, lived in Memphis.
Oh, wow.
And lived in a wealthy, he may have told this off air, he lived in this wealthy part of Memphis, and his family had been robbed, and his wife and daughter had been locked inside a closet. Thank God that was all that was done, because, you got a wife and daughter home alone, like something else could have been done. And they robbed this $1 million home. And he's like, I'm living in the best neighborhood. I'm living in, what am I supposed to do? Like, there's nowhere else. I work here in Memphis. Where do I go? And that's what these people are seeing. And so you're just like, and I mean, no disrespect, but I was like, okay, this is an area of Memphis where you expect crime. And then there's some areas where you don't expect crime. Well, those people who are committing those crimes here are going out into these other areas, and that's exactly what that reporter, rightfully so, asked Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi about. Like, what are you going to do as these criminals? And she's like, you can run, but you can't hide.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm glad to hear her say that, but I hope they go out into those other areas. You know,
I do.
If they do hit up South Haven, Mississippi,
yeah,
you know, because that's a suburb of Memphis.
Well, that's true.
And
but I think they need to hit Lamar Avenue and I think you can honestly just cruise on down Lamar Avenue. And if anybody's hearing this from Memphis, they're probably like, "Yep. Rob's been to Memphis before," because you don't want to be on Lamar Avenue after midnight. You know what I mean? And there's going to be some ladies of the night walking down the street over there and all of that stuff. Go down to Lamar Avenue, start there, and then branch out.
Yeah, wow. Pretty incredible, though, that this is actually happening, because this is exactly what you said.
This is what we voted for.
No, but this is exactly what you said. Back when we were talking about the National Guard going to Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
You were the one, and I didn't hear anyone say this, but you were the one, Rob, that was like, you know, he really should go to red states and go to the blue cities in the red states.
Yeah.
And do that. And
Clean
liberate those people.
What did I say? Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right? Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yep.
Our home state. St. Louis, Missouri.
Yep.
Red state, blue city. Go to those places. New Orleans, Louisiana. Blue city, red state. Go clean up those areas. And then all those people in Chicago who have voted Democrat all their entire life, it's like, you mean I can walk down Lamar Avenue in Memphis now? You know? Because they've cleaned it up?
Yep.
I'd like to have that here. I don't care what you say, Fatty Pritzker.
I just want to know what they're going to do to maintain it. Like, you know, because they can't be there forever, can they?
I get it.
Yep.
Okay, but it's
I just want to know,
like,
is there a plan? That's all.
I don't know. But if you're bleeding,
yeah,
and you put the tourniquet on there, right? It gives you time to assess. Like, okay, here's what we need here. Like, this is what we did to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Let's run some triage.
Presumably, if you get these people in jail,
well, yeah,
you know that's going to be
and you've got
for an extended period of time. Then that,
and you've got to get these Soros-backed DAs out of there that just believe in cashless bail and putting these people back out. You know, we saw that the young lady, I forget her name or whatever, but she was killed by a guy that had been arrested 49 times. Mm-hmm. He had 23 felonies or whatever. Don't quote me on exactly those numbers, but it was ridiculous numbers like that. He had been arrested and had been convicted of 23 felonies. What the hell is this person doing walking our streets?
That's criminal. The people that do that, they should be in jail.
Why are they not?
Yeah. In other news,
Caitlin Becker is the star of the New York Post, by the way.
Oh, really? I've never watched.
She's incredible.
Well, she's not. This is just a video. This is just an article, not a video. Headline: Harvard hires drag queen named Lahore Vagistan as visiting professor. So Memphis is getting cleaned up, but Harvard is still going to Harvard, I guess.
Say it.
Harvard. I'm going to read this. Oh my gosh, there she is. Or there he is. There he is. Harvard University hired a drag performer as a new professor who is expected to teach a class on TV show RuPaul's Drag Race and the spring semester of the Ivy League school announced over the summer. The institution welcomed Kareem. You want to help me with that? Kareem Koopchandani in a July message in the college community and revealed that the visiting professor from Tufts University will teach in the Studies of Gender and Sexuality program thanks to Harvard. Okay.
I bet.
Koopchandani is perhaps better known for his stage name Lahore Vagistani. Lahore Vagistani, a persona that the academic has made an integral part of their pedagogy.
Okay.
I mean, we're out sodoming Sodom and Gomorrah at this point, aren't we, folks?
I'm laughing at the name.
I know
I'm laughing at the
ridiculousness
of it.
I mean, come on.
You just have to laugh through the pain at this point because these people are in our society, and they're not just.
My gosh, Rob, read that.
I didn't read that.
Read this part.
I didn't read it. Okay, my name is Lahore Vagistan. My preferred pronouns are she or auntie. I choose Lahore because my family traces its origins to Pakistan. Lahore is an important city in Pakistan, and well, I'm a bit of a whore, the drag queen said.
There you go.
And folks, how much are you paying to go to Harvard and receiving an education from Miss whoever Lahore?
That's insane.
Okay. Now we're laughing at the name, we're laughing at the ridiculousness of it, but what we are seeing here is that I was having a text message conversation with someone you and I both know today, and I won't say her name on air, and she's on the left, but she's not a crazy leftist. Okay, she's just a liberal, right? And we were talking, and we, just in a text, and it was just kind of brief stuff, and I was just like, we've got to stop letting the crazies on both sides speak for us, right? We've got to stop. There's some crazy leftists, like crazy, right? Like Miss Lahore here, okay? And then we've got these crazy righties.
It's Mr.
It's
Mr. Lahore.
She, and what was the other pronoun?
Auntie.
Or, oh my gosh. Okay. But quit, hey, liberals, I'm talking about a classic liberal. I'm talking about a Democrat, a Bill Clinton voter, a person who, I don't really like George W. Bush, but I like what he did after 9/11, and I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole. But I'm talking about those Democrats who gave George W. Bush an 80% approval rating after 9/11. That's the Democrats that I'm talking about, because you had to have them for the, you got, but the 20% crazy leftists over here, these people named Lahore Vagistan, who are professors at Harvard. Lahore Vagistan is a professor at Harvard, and your side has produced Lahore. Okay? Your side has produced Lahore, and she is now a prominent professor at one of our most elite institutions. And you want to say, nothing to see here, folks. Don't worry about that. No, this is where my friend, who I was texting with today, has got to stand up and say, I denounce you.
Right, but
I am not with you. Lahore Vagistan does not need to be a Harvard professor.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that
nor does whatever his name, Roger, KKK member over here to the extreme right, who wants to cause a race war.
Right,
and I'm reading an audiobook about the extreme right wanting to cause a race war. Like, you don't need to be a Harvard professor either. Crazies, quit speaking for us.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, what you're saying is, though, for the left, and see, this is the thing, like, are there any sensible leftists out there anymore? I don't know, because you're only going to read about. I would think not, because that's not what I see, right? I mean, I'll admit I'm in a bubble or whatever, and so that's the deal. Like, are there those willing to denounce it? And what you're essentially talking about, it would be like a third party coming out of the Democrat Party, in order to actually do that, because once you denounce them.
Yeah.
Then you're canceled. The radicals go after, if there's a liberal out there who leans left but doesn't want to promote all of this stuff like Lahore Vagistan or whatever, Vagisil. And if you don't, if you're not down with that, you're out. You're anathematized by the movement.
Just go down that rabbit hole. They denounce them. They bring them. They do their own party here. Lahore is your chairperson, right? Maybe it has AOC and has all these crazies in the far left over here. Maybe Lahore over here is your person. Who are they going to vote for, though, in the election? When the election time comes, the Democrats who are on the left, who are not crazy, have got to say, they're not our people. The independents are our people.
Yeah.
Right? Well, the people that are closer to the center are our people. And if we want to save the Democrat Party...
I don't.
Right, I don't, but I'm just trying to say, if you want to save the Democrat Party, it's denouncing the crazies. It's not embracing them.
Right. But and that's the question. And so what you're actually laying out a strategy that would have been useful for the Democrats to listen to, about 4 years ago.
No, they won't do it.
I mean, seriously.
Well, what did they try to do? I mean, they elected Joe Biden, who was viewed as the centrist.
Yes, that was the puppet figure of the. We'll put an old white guy at the head of the Democrat Party.
Yeah,
but everybody around him, of course, was a total nut job. Total,
because he wasn't running the country, and we knew that he wasn't. Right. Clyburn in South Carolina did as big of a disservice to the American people as anybody by endorsing Biden that sent him over the edge.
Yeah. I want to remind everybody to go to paultalkshow.substack.com. If you want to become a paid subscriber, you'll get a copy of Left Wing Will and the Red Pill. If you do that, we really appreciate it. Rob, thank you so much once again, sir.
Honor to be here as always. Make sure you're following us on every social media app.
Every platform you can. We don't do a show on Friday, so we'll see you back here on Monday. God bless everybody out there watching. And, we really appreciate it. Thanks so much.